Hello and welcome to another episode of Not Too Deep. I'm your host, Grace Helbig. This is a very delightful episode. We have Lauren and Jeremy from the salacious, scandalous, and sex-positively educational podcast Wild Till 9. You might know Lauren as LaurDIY. You might know Jeremy as the self-proclaimed boyfriend of Lauren. We talk about everything, how they slid into various DMs to start dating, how they've met each other's parents, what it's like living and working together after having public relationships. And we talk about, the scary C word, children. All of it's here in this lovely episode with Lauren and Jeremy on Not Too Deep. Enjoy. Lauren, Jeremy, this is so exciting. Thank you so much for being here on this beautiful episode. I can't wait to learn so many dirty details about both of you.
Can't wait.
Same.
Also, Grace, I was trying to remember the last time that I was on Not Too Deep. And
Yeah.
I think I want to say it's like 5 years ago because I don't think I lived in LA.
No, and we had this set up in an office space on the east side. And we were like, please come to this rickety office. We swear we won't, we won't compromise you in any way. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
oh my God. I was trying to piece together the timeline and I was like, okay, I definitely remember getting out of an Uber being like, oh my God, where am I? I am a scared Canadian in this land and I don't know what's going on.
Well, consider this basically, this is like a redo because I feel like 5 years, a brand new person emerges,
Oh,
so I think it's going to be very different. Now, okay, first I want to start off, usually for people that have multifaceted jobs, careers, personalities, I ask them like what their deal is. But because you guys work together, I would ask you to describe each other's deal for people that might not know you. So how do you describe Jeremy? Jeremy, how do you describe Lauren for someone that has no idea who you are?
Oh my God. Here, go ahead, babe. Go first.
Outside of being I guess, quote unquote, internet person, I would say Lauren is the creative director of her own life that she puts into a media form.
Wow. That's a great elevator pitch.
Yeah, mine is not going to be that smooth and concise.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm really bad at summarizing literally anything, whether it's a movie or my boyfriend. It's not going to go well. Jeremy is the co-host of Wild Till 9, and a ex-frat president, also a cappella once on NBC.
Can we get to this decade?
Wow.
No, this is the highlight reel. Oh, so ex-frat president, ex-a cappella competitive national TV singer situation.
Which takes us to 2013.
Now turned tech salesperson.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's like a goodie bag of different things, and I want to make sure I touch on all of them.
No, that's
like
great.
a variety
I think
pack.
You guys gave us very brief little Wikipedia pages of each other, and I appreciate that. Now, of course, we have to know you guys are in a relationship with each other. You have blossomed this podcast out of this relationship with each other. I have to know, and I'm sure you've explained this a million times, how did you meet each other?
Again, not great at summarizing stories, so babe, take it away.
This one you can work together on.
Okay.
Go ahead, start. I'll pick up.
So we crossed paths. It would have been in 2016, I think.
Okay.
Or 17 or
One of
so.
them.
Either way. So I was in another relationship. Jeremy was engaged to someone that was, spoiler alert, not me.
Okay.
And he
Which would have been weird if it was you. That would have
Right.
been a very unique
Weird
situation.
There's a
way.
follow-up question for that.
Weird, like mad that it's not me, but also mad that yeah. Anyway,
We got the kinks out.
we got the kinks out. So Jeremy worked in music tech, and I don't know if you remember when when the roast yourself raps were really popular back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So me being the YouTube pop star that I was with my roast yourself, Jeremy's company was essentially the tech platform that lets individual independent artists like myself put their music on Spotify and iTunes, etc. So he was essentially like my contact person at this music tech company.
Wow.
And so my assistant and I spent like hours on the phone with him, working out the tech side of like the music industry. And and then what happened next?
Well, yeah, fast forward a few years, no longer engaged.
Okay.
And I was in the middle of my full-on just let's have sex with everything that moves phase.
Okay.
And
Yep,
yeah,
we've all been through that. It happens. When things move, it turns you on. And what are you supposed to do?
got a pulse, and you graduated college. We're good.
This is consensual. Great.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. I saw on the infamous and worst dating app in the world, Raya. I saw her profile. Yeah, right. Everyone's like, yeah, that one. And but no one, of course, ever meets on Raya. That's not a thing. So
I met my ex-boyfriend on Raya. It's okay. Sometimes it does happen.
Wow. You're the first person.
Yeah,
I've met.
that's unheard of.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to sift through a lot of professional skateboarders, photographers, lots of DJs, and lots of ambiguous tech something
People
or other.
Enter ambiguous tech man.
But like I knew better than to actually use the app. So I then went to Instagram, found a very cute dog picture, and just slid right into the DMs. To which she promptly ignored for 2 weeks.
I didn't ignore it. I just didn't see it. There's a big difference between those two things.
Yes. Allegedly ignored, but here's what I know. Didn't get a DM back.
Got it. Okay.
Didn't get a DM back. And then I saw Jeremy on Hinge.
So you guys have spanned the entire dating websites available.
And mind you, I have her number. Like we had,
it didn't need to be this difficult.
Right.
It did not need to be this difficult.
Yeah. So when you slid into her DMs, you recognize that this is a woman that you've been talking to in a different capacity. Or did that come later that you realized that you guys had that connection?
I know I realized it, but and maybe it's because like we live in the like post, as far as I'm concerned, like post like Harvey Weinstein area.
Yeah.
You don't use a number you get at work per person. You just don't. There are too many guys that look just like me that don't know where that line is. And so to me, it's like I felt like I needed to get the number again or that contact again.
You need to earn the number.
No, you do. You can't just be like, hey, what's up? Like, no.
I mean, if you had texted me out of nowhere, I would have been like, oh, what the fuck?
That's weird,
like,
right?
This like tech guy from like 3 years ago is texting me. I was like, what? This is creepy. But so I slid into the DMs on Hinge with a show-stopping flirtatious message.
It went like this.
Simply,
hey, friend.
So immediately you're friend zoned from the start.
I was like, wow, can't wait for this.
I have no game. I just want to put that out there. I have zero like negative game.
It's endearing.
That's great.
In hindsight.
I'm glad.
There you go. You were being yourself. It was authentic.
It truly.
Okay, so then did you return that DM?
I was shit-faced out with a buddy and I went from hello to like dinner next Tuesday and like 3 messages.
2.
Wow.
2. Yeah, no, I was right for it. You can't say that I didn't know what I wanted.
It was direct for sure. It was direct.
Yeah, like I said, I was not looking for a relationship when she was, hey, friend.
Right.
I don't know what I was looking for, but it wasn't a relationship. So it kind of caught me off guard to a degree, but also, oh, fuck it, here we are.
Here you are. So it worked out. But how long into it before the revelation that there was an unanswered DM in your Instagram?
Oh,
I think I said that immediately.
Yeah.
Oh.
He messaged. Yeah, he said something immediately. I think that's probably better. I feel like it'd be more awkward if like into 3 months into dating, I was like, oh, this is awkward.
Right.
Well, so you guys talk very openly on your podcast, Wild Till 9, about dating, about your previous adventures and misadventures. Now, and I think you've talked a lot about like going on dud dates and things like that. So when you guys went into your first date, were there assumptions already? Were there expectations that were high, low, no expectations?
I had been single for about 6 seconds. So I really had no expexpectations. You know what I mean? Like I had been on maybe 3 other dates before.
Okay.
So I timed this really well. Because if she had gone on maybe even 2 or 3 more dates, she'd have been like, oh shit, that's available? No. Yeah, you'll be my maybe. I'll call you back.
I knew nothing. Again, I slid in with hey friend. So like me getting back to the dating game, there was no expectations, no nothing on my end.
I gotta be honest, and like it's kind of like the whole like premise of our first episode. I just assumed she was just some nerdy craft girl who, was gonna be like, I don't know, awkward as hell.
Hey, you want to see my craft?
Was like half true. But like I think to a degree. It's not that I set my expectations low, because obviously I was very attracted to her.
No. I want to be very clear. He set the expectations low.
How about this? I can't exactly remember what my initial thought was going to be. All I can remember is how shocked I was at how not boring and nerdy you were.
Do you feel the backwardness of this compliment right now?
I mean, it's working its way up. I can feel it working its way up. But
good, because my back is tired of shoveling.
Yeah. But sometimes it is fun to delight someone, especially when you have created like an online persona for yourself that you can be like, I'm not what you think I am. Get ready to meet who I actually am. That must be kind of fun.
Yeah, I can only go up from the expectation that Jeremy had apparently had for me.
Well, I guess, and here's the other side of that. And the reason that I don't work in like anything that's like tech related that touches talent is like, I have had 100 experiences with talent. And if I've had 100, 97 of them, I feel like I'm like, oh my God, how do you organize your life? You stress me out. And I guess all of the things that I disliked about the stereotypical, like showing up late, not caring about this, not understanding this, she knew all of it. I mean, she was a businesswoman from day one. And I was like, that's hot.
Cool. I mean, but that's very fun. And then also, I wonder, Lauren, if there's any nervousness about then knowing that he had helped you with your rap video in the past.
What do you mean, that shining moment of my career to know that exists?
Like we've all participated in tags and things online that we look back with cringe a little bit, and so there's something really endearing about knowing that very intimate part of you had already been shared with this person.
I don't know if endearing is quite the word that I would pin to that.
I would use endearing. It's a good word.
But I mean, I'm an open book online, and that was no secrets to unveil when you've already heard the roast yourself.
Exactly. He knows everything about you already now. Yep. I'm curious, and like so many of the questions that I'm sure you guys get all the time are about the getting involved with people that work online, because you are being yourself online. You're putting so much of your authentic, like private life into the public. What was that like for you guys? Did you have a lot of conversations about like the boundaries between like talking about your relationship at all, showing it, telling anyone about it?
I mean, I came from a relationship that was so publicly online, like daily vlogging type level of publicity. And so when we started dating, I don't think we shared anything publicly for the first 7 months or so, 6 months maybe. Like I kept it I had just been put on blast so hard online. And I had to like really reel it in and be like, okay, this is what we're not going to do. I don't ever want to get dragged into that again. So let's do the total opposite. And then I feel like eventually at some point, I mean, I would say like at a year's point, we were fully comfortable just being like, hello, we are dating.
Well, I think it's important to like, it sucks. But when you go into a relationship with someone who is famous and you are not, it's like, it is your job to... I guess, moderate the things that you would say, even if they're totally normal for you to say. It's like, how is this going to be perceived by the people that idolize her? And is that fair? No, but like that's part of the game. You're not going to get into it unless you're willing to play that. And if you're not, you're always going to be uncomfortable by the fact, well, I didn't mean it like this. I didn't say it like that. Wait, that's It's 2020. That's the way the internet works.
Right. Yeah. And it must have been, I mean, because both of you are still involved in entertainment and you kind of know how the quote game is played a little bit. And I think it's really respectable, Lauren, to go the polar opposite and like protect your privacy a bit, because, you know, the internet's a fucking wild environment. If you give an inch of your personal life, the whole thing's sucked out there and it's hard to pull it back in. So when you guys started to be more public, was there trepidation? Did it feel right? Is it something you still work on?
I mean, I think it's impossible to come from a relationship that I was in that was so heavily public, and that people, had put on this pedestal of like seeing this not falsified relationship, but glorified relationship. You know, it's like with the clickbait
curated
stuff.
Yeah.
Curate. Exact. That's the perfect word. Curated. That's it. And so coming from that, people are, not always a huge fan of change. And Jeremy being like a new man in my life, people were not I would say the vast majority of people were welcoming. And I feel like as my audience has kind of aged with me, they're like, breakups happen, shit happens, people don't stay together. And, I feel like it's hard to drown out those like very, very loud, angry fans.
Well, that's the issue. The 98% that are super nice are the quiet ones.
Are the quiet ones, exactly.
Ones
It
takes a very special, I mean, it's like when you have a decent experience at a burger joint, you don't go on Yelp and say, let me tell you just how
much I love this burger.
How well expected that was. It's like, no, like you either find, a live rodent in your burger or you don't say anything. Like,
right.
Very true.
So anyways, it just took time. And I think as we kind of dive into different podcast topics as well too, like as people get to know Jeremy and they're like, oh wait, he's not a bad guy. Like, so the people that went into it with like this big negative mindset of being like, oh my God, like who is this? Like he's an enemy of the fan base. Like those people eventually either unsubscribed and like, see ya, have a great life. Or they're like, oh, he's okay.
I mean, if anything, I feel like I'm half the time being like, hey, you don't need to protect. It's okay. Let's let them say that. That's okay. She's like,
I'm like,
let's do this. And I'm like, yeah, let's just, it's okay.
Yeah, everyone's protective of everyone else. The fan base is protective of the equilibrium. You're protective of your relationship. Yep. It's like that meme of like the 3 Spider-Men all holding guns at each other. They're like, everyone doesn't know how to handle the situation. But I think you guys have handled it really well. I'm curious, now you've gone from taking your time, getting into this relationship on your own, accord. And then now you have Wild Till 9, this very outspoken podcast.
Good word.
And so I'm curious, how did this podcast come to fruition? Whose idea was it? What was the conversation like in deciding to do it?
So I think it was initially my idea that I wanted to start a podcast. I just loved the idea of having the ability to do long form content where I could speak candidly. The last couple of years have been a massive transition period for my content of being like, okay, like, yeah, crafts ended up being family friendly. I didn't mean to pigeonhole myself into kids content. Especially with my last relationship, like he also made kids content. So I feel like the last 2 years I've been digging myself out of kind of like the kid side of YouTube over to being like, hey, I'm 27. I drink. I have sex. Like my life is very, very, very normal. And so the podcast.
My mother is going to be irate.
Oh, no. Donna.
Just broke her heart.
But a podcast was, for me, I have so many friends who have podcasts and they love the experience so much. I was like, this is the perfect platform for me to not have to transition my content. You know what I mean? When you're starting something new, you had to start with the voice that you're choosing. And so obviously my videos have transitioned over time to being more authentically myself. But a podcast, when you're starting something fresh, I just have the ability to be like, hey, like this is what it is. And I think we were at a bar last Christmas. And
the Phoenix,
yeah. And we were having a conversation. I have quarterly career breakdowns. And so we were on track with the breakdowns. Literally right on schedule.
Right on schedule. And I can see it. I can see it brewing because it's like it's like the discomfort. You don't know what's wrong. It's kind of like when you're a dog, you can't really like, hey, just talk to me. What's going on? I look at him like,
here it comes.
It's about to hit.
Here it comes.
We're due for one soon, actually.
We're due for one soon for sure. For sure. And so it was a conversation of being like, would you be comfortable essentially like helping me have conversations? Because I can't imagine having to talk by myself for an hour.
Oh,
I just can't imagine that.
Someone who loves speaking, that absolutely.
Right. And I just feel like our dynamic is pretty entertaining. We're both just such polar opposites.
That's so humble.
What?
We're like pretty entertaining.
No, but we're entertaining because like I'm a fucking craft nerd and you're like a sales frat person. You know what I mean? Like
I have not been in a fraternity for a decade. Oh my God.
No, but the dynamic is so different than I think what people would expect maybe from the outside. And so anyways, that's kind of how it started. And here we are.
And here you are.
Not too deep.
I mean, especially, and when you have a voice like that, that's meant to be on podcasts and narrate everything, it seems like an obvious choice for you guys. Now, was the initial idea, Well, first of all, how do you describe the podcast that you guys do for people that aren't aware of it?
Go for it, babe.
To me, the most interesting part about our podcast and why I think it's interesting is I think we both live reasonably interesting lives. Like post-pandemic, hard to say. I think we both live reasonably interesting life, but I think the most important thing is that like working in tech and working as a YouTuber, like more kids want to be a YouTuber than they do an astronaut. And I think tech to people in the Midwest, where I came from anyway, is always this idea of like, whoa, I don't even know how I would get to that. But that's where all the money is and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to say that none of that's true, but it's almost like take the veil off of it. We're just two people, and through our differences, we have so much that we are alike. And I think it's just funny to get our very, very different perspectives that get to the same end result in an hour format once a week.
I think too, I've always been really open about mental health online, and we've done a few like mental health episodes, but I also think that like something that I never really had growing up was any kind of like sexual conversation as well that was more open. And so like normalizing.
Well, I mean, my mother just found out I had sex 10 minutes ago.
Right. Donna. So sorry to break the news.
She can't wait to binge these episodes of your guys' podcast this holiday season. And really,
she's literally blocked.
She genuinely is blocked on every account.
Oh, that's great.
But I just feel like I, as like a teenager, early 20s, would have loved to listen to conversations that just normalize like breakups, emotional baggage, mental health, you know, any kind of relationship
millennial
stuff.
Shit.
But just like millennial shit. Yeah, it's like that was just like a missing piece, I feel like, in the conversations that I had with the people that I was surrounded with. So just even like friends and family. And so I feel like there's just so much to offer in terms of being as candid and taking the veil off as possible.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I'm all for sex positive podcasts, especially because it helps you guys start to learn about each other, I'm sure, in ways that you might not have known about before.
Oh, it's our weekly therapy session. No doubt.
There you go. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, I have a bunch more questions for you about the podcast. I also want to know the highs and lows of your quarantine. So we'll be right back with more Not Too Deep.
Not Too Deep with Grace Helbig.
Hello, listeners. Grace Helbig here, wanting to say two things. A big thank you for listening to the podcast. If you're a regular listener, if this is your first time listening, welcome and thank you. And second thing, if you are enjoying yourself here in this not too deep world we've built and you'd like to leave us a review, that would be so wonderful. If you can go to the iTunes store, the App Store, and leave us a lovely little review, comment. How are you feeling? Good, bad, otherwise? Maybe just good or otherwise would be appreciated. Other than that, enjoy the podcast. Okay, so now the podcast, you talk about life, you talk about business, you talk about lots of sex talk on the podcast, which is very fun and I think very illuminating for an audience to listen to. What's the biggest thing you've learned, maybe, or the most surprising thing you've learned about each other in the episodes that you've done, if anything sticks out?
Oh, I learned that wait, hang on. I've got two things. One, Jeremy has this thing called ticker. What is it? Ticker tapping?
Ticker tape?
Ticker tape?
Yeah.
Ticker tape?
First off, this is self-diagnosed. So every doctor
this is self-diagnosed and also like literally the most random shit you'll ever hear. Jeremy has a thing called ticker tape where he spells, as he speaks, he spells out the words like projected into the world in his brain as he speaks.
Okay.
I read them in my head and obviously I realize that.
That sounds exhausting. And I'm just so confused by it. And like, I don't even remember how it came up, but I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, no, because I was telling a story and you could see my
yeah, you're what?
You
like,
could
what
see
are you
my
reading?
eyes, whatever. And I guess I didn't really realize it, but I'm like, why do I keep doing that? And then we looked it up and it's I guess some small weird thing that people.
So we're basically a science and doctor podcast at this point.
I get it.
WebMD move over.
Yeah. All we need are two not professional mental health professionals. The internet needs more of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyone else need some opinions? Unfounded?
We got them. We got them.
Okay, so that's one thing that you've learned, which is a very interesting thing to learn. What was the other thing? You said there were two?
You know what? I don't know if anything can outshine the ticker tape. Go ahead, babe.
Oh, you've taught me nothing.
I've taught you nothing?
No.
Really?
No,
Nothing?
it's funny because I don't think there's any like large big thing. I think to a degree it's the every week doing like a little bit of just like talking about things that it's like the little things, and I wish I could like sum it up in some package that's great for a little clip. It's honestly just like the therapeutic just talking at each other and listening.
Right.
And
I think also there's stories too that we've gotten into that probably would not have come up unless provoked by a sex positive podcast.
True. Very true. Now, okay, I'm curious because you guys have obviously spent a lot of time with each other this pandemic, this past year, and you do the podcast on top of all of that. What is your day-to-day life like with each other? Is there a routine? Do we have boundaries? How does this work for you guys?
I mean, Jeremy works like a 9 to 5, so he kind of fucks off into like his real person job, and I do my YouTube person job, which I think it's actually very helpful that he works kind of a 9 to 5 because I try and confine myself ish to like a regular 9 to 5 hours. I would say that
there's a couple nap hours in there for you, but
yeah, a couple nap hours in there. It's a 4 p.m. thing, but I would say for the most part we have a oddly normal 9 to 5-ish schedule.
Well, I worked from home. I worked remote prior to the pandemic. So
Right.
I had to set up my headquarters is in Seattle. So
Got it.
It's a little bit like we almost like set ourselves up as best we could for what actually happened.
Wow, by accident.
Yeah.
By accident, for sure.
Very cool. Now, what are you guys watching in pandemic? Do we watch shows together? Do we watch shows apart?
The only show that we watch apart is Bachelorette, which is fine. It's fine.
You can guess which one of us watches it.
It sounds fine.
It's totally fine. And then, oh my God, we just finished The Undoing, which we loved.
Yeah.
The Boys.
The Boys.
The Boys is great.
Queen's Gambit. Loved Queen's Gambit.
Big fan.
I'm currently rewatching New Girl for the 14th time.
Schitt's Creek.
And Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
We watched Lovecraft Country. What else?
What are
Oh my
watching?
God. We have been just blazing
You got anything good for
shows.
us?
I've been burning through documentaries and docuseries. If you like The Undoing, Murder on Middle Beach is great on HBO.
That's on my list. That's on my list. I heard the finale. Oh my God, I have so many questions, but I don't want to do spoilers.
No spoilers. It's really good. It's 4 episodes, so you can watch all of it. I had to watch it weekly, which was a pain in the ass, but it's really great. Go ahead.
I forgot our favorite, Ted Lasso.
Screaming.
Oh,
You're screaming.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. That was the highlight of my 2020 was Ted Lasso.
To me, that is some of like the best television I've seen in years.
Yeah, that was, you know what? 2020 needed Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so sweet. I was caught off guard at how sweet it was. I think like my sarcasm walls were really up when I started watching it. And I was like, why is this so sweet? I don't know how to feel about it. Yeah. And then they started doing karaoke in that one scene. I was like, so this show's just sweet all the time, I guess. It got me good.
God.
It got me good. Okay. Dogs are involved in your world. How was the introduction of new boyfriend to dog?
Well, Moose was the initial access to
we
the
have Moose
DMs.
to thank for the relationship.
Yeah. So Jeremy actually showed up to the first date with a small little gift bag of a dog toy for Moose. Like really
that's a good
laying
move.
it on thick on the first date.
Good move.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
So anyways,
So it
Jeremy
worked
was
out.
so affectionate and so sweet and so kind. Showed up with a dog toy, which actually got him an invite back to my house on the first night.
Whoa! Whoa!
We're like about to finish dinner, and she was like, "I mean, like, do you want to like give it to him yourself?" And I was like,
I just want to be clear. We did not have sex on the first date, but I just thought that you'd want to give it to him
to your
yourself.
dismay.
But there was a much more intimate interaction happening with the dog being involved. I feel like you guys passed a level on the first date already.
Yeah, you got to meet my son on the first date.
Right. I mean, also Moose is just like his personality. You know, like some dogs just like have this like weird sense of just like and I love you kind of thing. He would have loved anything that moved for sure. But like I think me liking dogs and it going well was just like, oh, this is cute.
Right. For sure.
It's a big thing. It's a big deal. The dog knows, even if they seem to love everyone. Now, what do you guys mentioned on your podcast that you hardly fight, which is congratulations, a beautiful thing. Do we have pet peeves about each other? Or
Where do you want to start?
Oh my God, yeah, let's go. Let's go. Tell us when to go.
Okay, let's do top 2 pet peeves of the other person, or just like idiosyncrasies that you might not ever have seen.
This is so
someone...
difficult for Lauren. I've got like 3. Lauren has like 300.
Really? Okay. Let me just hear top 2. You can do a third if it's a really difficult thing to avoid.
Okay. You know what? I actually am running through all of the possibilities that Jeremy's going to say about me more than because I'm messier between the two of us. I'm definitely more of a
crazy. You think?
I'm kind of like a tornado going through the house. Yeah. It's
That's my number 2. Yeah.
It's not a good look for me. Oh, you know what? Just go ahead then. So tornado through the house is your number 2. What's your number 1?
Lauren has something that will eventually transpire into fantastic motherly tendencies. But Lauren needs to know where everyone in the house is at all times, what time they go to bed, what time they wake up, what they're eating for dinner, if they haven't eaten for dinner. All these literally, I got in bed last night. Like, I just couldn't sleep. It was like 4 a.m. I got in bed and she was like, "Are you okay? What time? Where have you been? What's going on?" I was like, "I'm good." And literally, I know it's coming. It's like I'm walking into my mother's house and I'm trying to like sneak in because I'm a few minutes past curfew.
Impossible.
And every single time. Well, also like Lauren will just like, and you can hear it every time she wakes up. It's not like a, "Oh, you're here." It's like she, you know, like in the Matrix when they pull out Neo and he goes back. No, she's Trinity. It's the gasp of like life. Every fucking time, which is like sometimes adorable and sometimes I'm like, "It's fine. Go to bed. I love it."
The tornado has woken up.
Yeah, I don't know why I do that. Like sometimes I don't even remember that I do it too. So it's not like out of any kind of like bad. Like I don't know.
Sometimes you've never remembered that you do that. Literally every time.
I know that it happened last night. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that happened last night. How fun for everyone. Future kids, watch out. They'll be fucked because I will wake up with my
You'll have GPS trackers on everybody.
Everyone.
Just like me. She's got me tagged.
Find friends.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So Jeremy's number 1 is his inability for things to fully make it into the dishwasher.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
To the sink, to the side of the counter, to the island, a side table near the couch.
Vicinity of it.
It's so close. Like it is so close, and I just don't understand why I can't just. It's almost more work for it to go into the sink and then have to pick it up later and then pick it up again and put it in the dishwasher. Just straight to the. We sound like we're a 95-year-old.
None of what
couple.
you're saying is a lie. You are correct. I get it.
Then, my boyfriend does the same thing. There are glasses so close. So close.
So close.
And always new glasses. Never reusing a glass. Just down, new one up.
Well, okay. But that's the thing. Sometimes, like, I'll grab my espresso cup. I know I'm gonna pound at least 4 or 5 of them throughout the day. I can just name it a little water, fine.
No. He leaves the espresso in the bottom of the cup, like the last little couple drops of it, and then it dries and gets crusty. And then we usually go through, I'd say 3 espresso glasses a day.
Right. So the intention is like, I'm gonna put it by there, not put it into the sink because I'll use it again, and then I forget, and just Neanderthal. Oh, get another one, and here I am.
It happens. It's a common thing, is what I'm learning. So
it definitely is.
So that's number 1.
Number 2 is a random habit that he rips his socks off at any time. Like it's just like it's the most sporadic thing, and then he leaves them there. So like there could be socks in the kitchen, in the living room, on the stairs, in his office, in my office. Like it's such a weird tendency. It's just like surprise sock drops.
There's no lies here.
It looks like someone got like kidnapped in a random spot in your house and left the socks behind.
Leaving context
and
clues
the socks left behind. Yeah.
Just breadcrumbs.
That's great. So is there a third one or should we leave it at 2?
There's 300.
There's 3 out of the 300.
I would say just like the general decrease of IQ when Jeremy is in the vicinity of the kitchen.
Oh.
Of the kitchen. It's like,
I thought you were going to say
I've never met someone who's so intelligent and so useless in the kitchen. Like whether it's unloading the dishwasher or again, the fork making it all the way or putting spaghetti into boiling water if I'm like multitasking. Like the inability to function in the kitchen is astounding.
Well, it sounds cute and fun. You guys are having a cute, fun time.
Isn't that cute and fun?
Cute and fun.
Yeah, cute. Next time I get like shit on for it. Why couldn't you? It's cute and fun,
Cute and fun.
One time Grace said it was cute and fun.
I suggested it could possibly be something that's cute and fun. Okay, what's holiday season like for you guys this year? Because Lauren, I assume you're a holiday person, but maybe you're
make
not.
Her cry?
Do you want me to sob on your podcast right now?
No. Is this too sensitive of a subject?
No. I actually, no, that was 2 days ago. So we're good now. But,
okay, it's out of the system.
We originally were actually supposed to have my parents and Jeremy's mom meet this Christmas for the first time, which typically we would do just like tour de North America. So we would go up to Canada where my family is. Moose comes with us, fly down to Chicago where Jeremy's mom is, and then fly back. And so we did that last year.
Great.
And it was great. Yes, we're like, all right, round 2. And then obviously plans changed. Everyone was going to come here. And then just with the new lockdown restrictions, it's mostly the Canadian side, my family, that is not able to come. So just us this year.
Fun. Keeping it cute and keeping it fun.
Cute and fun.
Keep it safe. And like, there's plenty of time for our parents to meet and those political fireworks to go off. We'll save it.
There you go. Okay, I have to talk a little bit about Craftopia, which congratulations. So cool. So fun. So
Thank you.
Well, I'm curious of both of your experiences. One, Lauren, you like working and creating this show, and 2, Jeremy, watching and supporting Lauren working and creating this show. What's that like for you guys?
I mean, oh my God, it was like, to think that I started off as like an internet craft kid to being able to executive produce and host Craftopia on HBO Max. Like, it genuinely is so 0 to 100 for me that it's shocking. It is so shocking. And we actually filmed season 2 like a couple months ago.
Wow.
And so like that was a whole experience on its own just because of like the COVID precautions that you have to take when I think it was a crew of 150 people.
Holy shit.
So yeah, it was a whole thing. We made it through. Everything was like really safe and great. But it was incredible. I mean, it is a totally different world.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, from doing E, you know.
Yeah.
How many years ago was that? How many E was?
Ooh, years ago. But same thing, that it's like a huge crew and there's a new level of responsibility and a lot of pressure. But it's also extremely cool and there's nothing but gratitude. So it's all these emotions in one like snow globe of a situation.
Yeah, I would say that sums it up pretty well. I will say that like, it's like being on a high of opportunity while you're doing this. I will say I've never been so physically and emotionally exhausted just from being on for so many hours. So season 1, we had kid contestants and kids can only be on set for, I think it is 8 hours or 6 hours a day. Yeah. So our days were very rigidly scheduled. And then season 2 is with adult crafters, which totally elevates the entire show, like for sure. Love the kids, you can so cute.
You can hurt their feelings as adults.
You can hurt their feelings. Yeah. So we got to be a little sassier and it was just, you know, a little more fun to be with the adults. And
the Simon Cowell of crafts.
Right. The Simon Cowell of crafts. But that also meant that like the days could be 18 hours and we would do that 5 days a week. And so like I was a ghost of a human for 2 weeks. So Jeremy got to be just live by himself basically because I was not physically emotionally present in my sack of bones of a body.
I mean, me playing witness to one of the many great and amazing things that Lauren does is basically part of the job in this relationship. So I stood in the front row with my popcorn and say, "You do it. I'll be over here." I mean, like the like recurring joke is like. Every single headline about our podcast is always just like LaurDIY and boyfriend and boyfriend and boyfriend and boyfriend. And I'm like, you know, and like, either like you have to like get upset about it every single time you see it, which I think is ridiculous. Or just understand the fact that like, she's going to do so many like, amazing things. Grab a seat, get your popcorn, hang out for the ride.
I want to mention that he's not usually this complimentary to me when we're not on a podcast. He's being really fucking nice. I'm going to take it though. Keep it coming.
You want me to try again?
Keep it coming.
It sucked. I hate it. No, it was fun.
Just take a trip into the kitchen, see how close the glasses are to the dishwasher, and then you'll get steeped in the real Jeremy. Now, Jeremy, what's your relationship to crafts? Did you ever expect in your adult life that you would have such your world would be so entwined with crafting?
When I tell you I have the craft IQ of, I don't know, a 2-year-old maybe. Actually, I'm sure there are 2-year-olds out there that could outcraft me. I mean, if there's one like course in elementary, when they made you do like all the different courses, whether you liked it or not, because you were just young and you did what you were told. That was the one class that I was so pitiful at, didn't enjoy, couldn't stand. I'm just so bad at it. My hands don't do what I want them to do. And like my handwriting to this day still looks like, that's pretty good for a second grader.
Yeah.
But you'll have to improve that.
I would say the best metaphor for this question would be there was a time where Jeremy and I were simultaneously. Jeremy was scrubbing the toilet and I was fixing the dishwasher, and that's that was an accurate depiction of just like the handicraftiness side of the relationship. And I'm
vacuuming underneath the cushions.
Vacuuming under the cushions. Yeah, no and I can fix the toilet and the dishwasher.
Yeah,
and
she's over here plumber's crack fixing things.
Yeah,
perfect. Hey, it works. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna take one last break. When we get back, I have a bunch of Instagram questions for you guys, so we'll be right back with more Not Too Deep.
Not Too Deep with Grace Helbig.
Okay, before we get into these Instagram questions, I'm going to ask you guys the 2 questions I ask every single guest that is on the podcast. The first is, who, alive or dead, would you most like to throw cold spaghetti at? Yeah.
Fuck Donald Trump. Am I allowed to say that on this podcast? Fuck Donald Trump.
I think you can say whatever you like.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, of course. That's a very popular answer these days.
Spaghetti to Trump.
There you go.
Spaghetti to Trump.
I'd say probably Hitler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a very popular answer too.
Related.
Yeah.
Same category.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. 2 great answers. Okay, the other question I ask every single guest.
Is it possible to maybe not do spaghetti and like, I don't know, acid or something else? Just like, really, there's no world where I feel bad about anything I throw at Adolf Hitler.
It's entirely your intention, so you can spike the spaghetti with whatever
Good.
essence you like.
Just curious. Yeah.
Love it.
Because this opportunity will present itself in real life one day, and so you should be prepared. Okay, the other question I ask every single guest is to tell us your worst pants shitting story or a close call experience, bathroom experience, but you can only use 3 words or 3 small phrases to describe the experience. So for example, mine is college, jogging, front lawn.
I just want to say that I'm so glad this question is still happening on your podcast
still
because
happening.
I have answered this question before.
Yes.
And my answer is still the same.
Okay.
Never shit pants.
Yeah. Hey, it happens. I envy you. I admire that. And I cannot wait for the day it happens.
You know what? I will call you so we can circle back on this question specifically the day that it happens.
Jeremy, if you have a story that you could tell us in 3 words or 3 small phrases.
Fucking band camp.
Oh, okay. With the
Jesus
first
Christ.
word, I thought it was a different story entirely. But
Yeah, me too. I was like, wow, that's rough. That's rough.
No. Yeah.
Lots of things happen at band camp.
I mean band camp.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
lots of stuff happens in band camp. So I hear. Okay, let's get into these Instagram questions for you guys. Let's see. Ask them, what do you think you would be doing with your life if you guys didn't meet?
When I was freshly single before meeting Jeremy, I was about to go on a hoe rampage.
Oh.
So might still be in that rampage. I don't know. Could be.
I'd definitely still be in the rampage.
So you just have 2 parallel rampages happening.
2 parallel.
Right. Yeah. Just breaking hearts. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Just ruining your own self-esteem and breaking
Exactly.
hearts all the way.
Great.
Okay, someone wants to know, do you guys have anything planned on your podcast? I think meaning like, do you want to do anything, any big plans for like segments, ideas, stories, that sort of stuff that you guys want to go into?
Thank you, viewer, for that ridiculously vague question.
Really? I feel like I have 3 different answers for this.
Oh, fuck me. Go ahead.
I mean, there's definitely a time and a place for Jeremy to recap his engagement.
Oh, so her plans are for me to. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got
Well,
it.
I mean, wasn't involved, so it's like that's not my story to tell.
There for a moment.
But also, I think. Wait, what was it? Maybe that was the only one I had planned.
I mean, fine. Then I would love to have unique and fun and weird guests.
Yeah. Yeah.
At some point, and whether it's an individual or a couple, I think that'd be fun. I'd love to do certain pop-up, smaller, like live recordings in front of like smaller audiences.
Cool.
I would love to see.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of plans like post-COVID type stuff. Like once we're able to be back in the world.
That makes sense.
Yeah, with just like guesting and potentially like to do anything at like a college would be so. I mostly just want to go to a frat party in America. Like that seems like a fun thing that I've never experienced.
There you go.
as a
You have an in with a former frat boy.
Yeah, if somebody's been in a fraternity, like the moment you go into that party, you're gonna go, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
No.
I need to experience that moment for myself.
They're sad and sticky. That's how I describe frat parties.
Yeah.
Sad and sticky.
When I told her that I had a pair of party Sperry's, because by the end of the night, you're just sitting in about 2 inches of just like gross shit from the basement.
disgusting.
It's you're gonna have to really, really wait till COVID's over before you
before we
into
hit
that
that
scenario.
sad and sticky. Yeah, sad and sticky. Okay.
Okay, we have a ton of questions about children. Are there talks of
Oh my
children? Is this a potential podcast episode for you guys?
Children are definitely like long ways down the timeline for us.
Yeah.
Like 2045 or before.
2045 or before.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
My mom will not accept that answer.
Wait, okay. I have a quick question about moms. So you guys have met each other's parents.
Yes.
What was that experience like for you guys?
So I did myself the disservice of portraying myself as an angelic, clean-mouthed, just like wifey material type of gal.
Yep.
And so, not that I'm not maybe a small portion of those things. But so when I was envisioning what Christmas would look like this year with both my parents and Jeremy's mom in town, like my parents get the full package that you're getting right now. You know what I mean? Like that they know who I am. And so I was trying to figure out where the middle ground of this like very clean persona that I had created for Jeremy's mother and my regular persona, like where the middle ground would be for Christmas. So anyway, silver linings of not having Christmas together with the family anymore.
Okay. So you have still time to figure out this middle ground area.
Yes.
I can assure you there will be no figuring it out until the day it happens.
Right. But she very much described me as a delight. And so I knew that I had succeeded.
Yeah, so who's the salesperson, huh?
It was me for Donna. It was me for Donna.
Whereas vice versa, I'm over here talking about my hoe phase on the podcast. Yesterday's episode was all about my like DUI in high school and all the shit that transpired. So it's like what you've seen, it's actually it's better now than it was. So like you can only go up from there.
Right. No.
That's great. Very great. Okay. Someone's asking for you guys to describe each other's aesthetic in your own opinion.
Oh, aesthetic? Huh. Interesting. Oh my God, I don't even know what this means. Like, okay, so like their aesthetic. Like Jeremy would be I feel like you're just like your aesthetic is like tech guy. Like, you know, like you would fit in Seattle. You wear a lot of Lululemon.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like Lululemon has some great stuff.
They have
And
great
yeah,
stuff,
they have
yeah.
great stuff. Yeah. I guess
We
good
love
hair.
Lululemon.
We love
And
Lululemon.
that, and that
in this
rating would
household.
get better if they would send me some damn clothes.
Yeah,
There
seriously.
you go.
I would say tech businessman aesthetic with good hair and fun socks.
Okay, that works.
With a little bit of dog hair and glitter stuck to him.
Wonderful.
How did I do?
Great. I mean, you kind of hit on mine as well, but on the reverse, I mean, your aesthetic is soft or glittery.
I don't wear any glitter though. That's not like
Bullshit.
the aesthetic. Okay, well, not on purpose. Not literally
Not on purpose, but nobody
yeah.
wears glitter on purpose, yet I'm still covered in
That's
it.
absolutely not true. Some people do make
Every single time I have a black suit ever, it's just like glitter everywhere.
Everywhere.
I take it to the dry cleaner and he's like, what?
So did you rave again? Well,
Yeah.
what is this?
Right.
Yeah.
No, you do better than that. Soft,
Soft, cuddly, and glittery.
I don't know if I agree with that, but fine.
Well, the question was,
For now.
we're supposed to describe the other one.
Right. So I don't know if I agree with it, but fine.
Okay.
A lot of questions about do you feel weird that you've had past relationships being on YouTube?
I guess this is a question for both of us, right?
I think it's more of a, there's been questions for kind of both of you about how is it being with each other. And I, like, my current boyfriend has had like previous relationships. I've had previous relationships. I think it's been, for me, a little bit helpful, like kind of added, like we get where each other are coming from kind of situation. Right. I'm curious what your guys' experience of that was like.
Yeah, I mean, I think coming from every relationship, whether it was online or off, you come out of it knowing a little more, understanding a little better of how to be a better partner and what you need in a partner as well. Yeah. I think from the online perspective, definitely learned what I didn't want to do in the public eye. Mm-hmm. And so even though we are so like graphically candid on the podcast, I still feel like that is such a different level of having a quote unquote public relationship. Yeah. Because a lot of times we're just like retelling stories of our own lives and like giving our opinions on whether it's like a fan submitted question about their relationship or how we feel about dealing with like jealousy. Whereas before it was, like you said, a curated compilation of clips to portray what the relationship was like. You know what I mean? And so it left so much space for assumptions. Yep. And having people make just claims about what the relationship was, what it wasn't, what this meant, what this didn't mean. And I think with the podcast, it's just a totally different conversation, a totally different dynamic of being, quote unquote, public.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I would add to that is that I think that there's still this weird thing left over from the fact that we're the first generation that grew up, for the most part, with cell phones in our hands that had cameras. Huge. And it's not like we're, a few years away from most marriages being the 15 people that are in your town that happens to be within your age group. It's like, you're going to date, you're going to meet people, you're going to fall in love, you're going to fall out of love. There's going to be pictures and there's going to be opinions about the pictures that exist on the internet forever from other people. Yep. And that should not impact the way that you look at each other. And I think it's this weird jealousy thing that guys in particular, guys who are listening, are really bad at and trying to play this weird, powerful, but you said this to this person. You said this.
There's some girls. I can list up. I think it's
there's
universal.
A lot of toxic, like a lot of guys that just play this weird game of just like trying to make people feel bad because they used to be happy, which I think is ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. And because there was a snapshot of that moment in time of when they were happy.
It's okay if someone made you happy before. And I just think that like I think Gen Z will be much better at it than we are. And I think it'll continue to get better. I just think we're at peak not knowing how to handle that.
I also think that Gen Z could get worse.
I was going to say, I don't know if I agree with that sentiment. Like Gen Z, I was like sending nudes to like their whole entire contact list. Like it is fucking shocking.
Yeah, they have no idea what it's like to call up your crush on a phone and have their parents answer and ask to talk to them. They'll never have that experience.
Someone pick up the second phone that's on the same phone line.
Yeah, you hear a little click. You're like, who's there? I feel, do you guys have, because you are so, you're involved in tech and Lauren, your whole career is online. When you guys hang out with each other, do you try to put your phones down, or are there kind of like unspoken rules with you guys in like social media?
I mean, I think we do it pretty, I don't think we've ever come to a point where we're like, okay, like we have to make solid boundaries of like, no phone time. I think we both decompress similarly at the end of the day, where we just like watch our show, have second screen experience where we're just like sending dog photos to each other while just like decompressing from the day. But I mean, we don't have any trouble going to dinner or being in the hot tub and not being on our phone. That's just like, we've never really struggled with that. So I never feel like there was a time where we had to be like, okay, boundaries, here are the rules.
And I would never post something about her that she wouldn't post about herself, if that makes sense. Doesn't matter what she posts about me to a degree, because like it is what it is. But like on the flip side, you can't post something that is off-brand for her, especially like a casual environment.
Yeah, you respect her brand as much as you respect her as a partner. It's huge. Yeah. Okay, here's a question. What would you tell your 21-year-old self?
You know nothing.
Yeah, you know nothing. You know literally nothing. I feel like, especially when you're young, and I want to say this is like more high school age, but just like every problem feels so big. And not to say that your problems get bigger along, like as you age.
But they do.
But they kind of do. Yeah, I know. So, I mean, it's just like every bad week that you've ever had, you've always made it through. And shit is going to continue to
I would realistically, if I really had one sentence, I would try and convey some point of like, don't be afraid to be vulnerable to people who have wronged you to a point where just like, don't be afraid of like just being the bigger person earlier, because like that weird toxicity of just like throwing just like, oh, they wronged me or I'm mad at them or I don't want to talk to them. Like that is exhausting.
Yep.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of energy.
I did a lot of that for a lot of years. So I'd like to not have done that for a minute. Yeah.
You've maxed out on the pettiness. Yeah. Okay, last question for you guys. What has been your most awkward moment together?
Oh, awkward moment together.
Or maybe it was in the beginning of the courtship.
Oh, I mean, we I share a handful of mutual friends with my ex. And so there was a point where we all went to a few parties that both X and Jeremy had to attend. And so at the beginning, that was awkward. But I think they both, honestly, kudos to both of them for doing such a great job of like kind of smoothing the, not the tension, but just the awkwardness of just what the situation was.
Yeah, he, and we've talked about it. He messed up pretty bad at one party in particular. And I say that because his apology was everything that it needed to be, in the sense that I respected him more for the fact that like he was upset. I cannot judge him for being upset and acting out. His apology at the time that it was so genuine that it honestly made everything else afterwards completely smooth.
Right. And that smoothed things over for when we had to be at, shared events or parties.
Right.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a very awkward thing to confront, but also very huge when you can make it at least tolerable and manageable for everyone around you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be beautiful. He loves the awkwardness. Dig into it. Okay, guys, this has been super fun. Before we wrap up completely, we love to give our guests a little gift for making time for us. So I believe Melissa has emailed you a personalized fortune cookie that is for the both of you, that you're welcome to open and share with the rest of us.
Oh my God. Okay. Mine is, your moms listen to every episode of Wild Till 9. That's it. That's the fortune. Yep.
That's your shared fortune, you guys. And I know you think your mom's blocked, but I feel like, what's her name? Donna? Donna's getting in there.
Well, then I guess your worry go far away, because she knows who the
she knows.
Yeah, you got a good idea who you are.
I've been
exposed. This is so fun, you guys. Thank you so much for making time to talk to me. Can you tell everyone that doesn't know where they can find you online, where they can listen to the podcast, when they can listen, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah.
Promo. Take it away.
YouTube.com/wildtill9 every Tuesday at what time do we have on?
7 a.m. Pacific. Yeah.
Really good job.
Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
On every platform for streaming and audio. So if you just are on the way to work, pop it in, Spotify, Apple, all the places.
I will say that the YouTube portion of it is a richer experience.
We actually got a couple DMs this last week of people being like, "Hey, could you guys stop like
making it sound so fun on the video?" I know, I saw that.
I don't have the ability to watch the video, so like if you guys could like stop making it so obvious that I'm missing out, and I'm like, okay,
sure.
But also the kind of stuff you guys talk about, you want to see the facial expressions associated with it.
It's a richer experience for sure.
Yeah.
Totally. And where can people find you guys separately if they don't know?
YouTube.com/LaurDIY, and same on all the socials.
Oh, just find her. You'll find me.
There you go. Always the supportive boyfriend. Thank you guys so much. Guys, go listen to Wild Till 9. You'll learn all about things like stuck porn and etc. It's a really, I've learned a lot, as you can tell. I'll see you guys next time on another episode of Not Too Deep. Goodbye.
Too deep, too deep, too deep. Not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Not Too Deep is a production of Grace Helbig Incorporated, producer Melissa D. Montz, edited by Shireen Lani Yunus, post-production sound by Chris Henry, and an extra special thanks to Flula for the theme music.